So I want to give a very short illustration before I get into the business of the day. So there was this time I got to interview a young developer. So we had this developer apply for a role here in Ayata. His resume wasn't like giving the best, say it was an average, nothing fancy. But during the interview, something stood out, right? I mean, he just didn't list out what he had done. He told stories of how he had solved problems, how he learned from failures, and how he was able to collaborate with other people. And guess what? He got the job. And today he's one of our high performing developers here in Ayata. So now my question is, in 2025 now, our current reality here, when AI filters through our resumes in seconds, I mean, the competition is tougher than ever now. How do you make sure you're remembered like that candidate we hired? So that's exactly why we are here today. The world of interviews is changing rapidly. We are evolving over time. There's AI, automation. The competition globally is very high. But one thing has not changed. Companies like Enyata are still looking for quality candidates. We're looking for good people who will bring value, who will bring authenticity, people who have the right energy. And good news is this, everyone on here can learn, even those who have been experienced can still get one or two tips from this conversation. With that said, can we see me?
Yes, we can see you.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Jadesola Onipanyi, and I'm the People and Culture Manager here in Inyata, a technology company that builds custom applications for our clients locally and internationally. So I've had the privilege of being in a couple of interviews with different candidates. Some candidates nailed it, some candidates couldn't nail it. However, today I'll be sharing with us some important lessons that I have learned from that side that would ensure that we nail our interviews in this current season we're currently in. So at the end of this session with us, we will be able to identify common mistakes we should try to avoid. Would also be able to know what exactly these recruiters really are looking for beyond our resume, right? And then how candidates can still get these their jobs. How to stand out in a tech-driven but also human-centered hiring process. So in short, that's what we'll be discussing today. So I'll be sharing my screen with us now, right here. Just a minute. Sure. Can we see our screen, please?
Yes.
All right, thank you, thank you. I see the reactions. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So right here, so the topic is nailing interviews in 2025. What recruiters really want to see. I mean, before I delve into this, nailing interviews means you are trying to. It means impressing the recruiter to the point that you are able to secure the job, right? And one thing I have discovered or seen over time is that this system keeps evolving time and time and time again, right? So in this workshop, like I already mentioned earlier, we are having to explore the new interview rules. I mean, integrating it with AI screens and then the human assessing fit, discovering what recruiters assess beyond our resumes, identifying key cues and standout communication style, and also preparing authentic, strategic, role-tailored answers and other things to be included. Now, the technology, like I mentioned, the industry is evolving over and over and over. We have every company is advancing. Now we have So when a candidate applies for a job, right, you never can tell if the particular organization you're applying to have a custom built system, like the applicant tracking system that would do a first screening to filter off some candidates that do not match up that requirement for the particular role they applied for, right? So one thing I want to mention first is when we have our resumes, we have to tailor it. Like tailoring our resumes, our CV is non-negotiable. Tailoring it in such a way that it has the right keywords, it has the right filler words. I mean, of course, we still have companies and organizations that still do this filtering the technology, the traditional way, right? However, in order for us not to shoot ourselves in the leg, it is best that we have this our resumes tailored in such a way that when these AI tools start to filter, because these AI tools already have keywords that they are sectional for. So let's say, for instance, you are applying for the role of a for as a front end developer, right? You want to know based on the job description, based on the job ad you have seen, you want to know what language
Recording.
is this organization looking for in particular. Because if you don't have those keywords, automatically the AI screening will just pass you off, and then you would start wondering, oh, why has these people not reached out to me? It was because you didn't match up, or you didn't have the right keywords on your resume. So that's why I have here AI screens resume by matching keywords and job titles. So we have to be very deliberate and intentional about the keywords we use on our resumes, right? Having said that, I mean it's also still
More
in direction with including key skills and clean layouts for AI passing. I already explained, just emphasizing on all of that. So after that first phase, so that or initial part is just to filter off the candidates that do not meet up the requirements. Then, of course, humans will still have to
Are you the
do
first one?
some traditional method of having to review your resumes. So that's why I have humans review applications after AI sorting. So recruiters assess skills and team fit beyond AI's initial check. So that initial check is just to filter off some people that do not meet up that requirement, and then the human part is also very important. So if you're able to pass the AI part, then yes, you're one step ahead, which is very incredible. Moving on, yeah. So leads me here. What recruiters really look for beyond our resumes, right? The first thing I have on my list here is clear communication skills. Communication is very, very crucial, very, very important. When you're communicating, you want to be able to pass your message in such a way that the recruiter know that this candidate understands what they are saying. You're not just giving one word answers or context. I mean, recruiters care how you explain ideas and listen. They notice if you speak clearly and without confusion.
So that's what I'm trying to explain.
Clear communication is very, very important. It also exudes confidence. If you're giving speaking clearly, you're being confident about what you're saying. You're being confident about what you're saying. It also means that you're able to explain complex ideas in simple terms that even people that are non-technical people will be able to understand what it is that you're trying to talk about. For example, like I mentioned, avoid one word answers. Think of each question as a chance to start a mini conversations. So in us here in Enyata, when we have interviews with our candidates, we don't say to them that okay, we are interviewing you. So it's not like it's a scary thing. We try to make them comfortable and tell them, oh, we are trying to have a conversation with you. So if you see the interview as having a conversation, You are being open. Your heart is, you're connecting with the recruiter, right? So they can, if your communication is clear and then there's clarity, everything is going as it should go, then that's like checking the boxes of the recruiter. Next I have here is attitude and culture fit, which is very, very important. See, as recruiters, we are looking for people that have the right set of character. Is your attitude right? Do you have the right mindset? Do you have the right values that fit or that is tailored to what we do in this particular organization, right? So we, and something about this culture fit and attitude. As a candidate, you try your best to be a likable person, because I mean, the interviews I've been in is already like giving me a turn off, and it's seeming like this candidate would probably not even scale through. But if you have the right attitude, culture fit, I mean, it gives you an edge. Be that likable person. Now, so I want to connect this to the third thing I have here. But before I explain further on that, it also says that the recruiter, they are looking for people that match the company's culture and values, like I rightly mentioned. This means that we're being positive. Like you have to be, this means being positive, being enthusiastic, showing that you're a team player. So excuse me. The interviewers is watching your body language, your energy, your eye contact. All of these things are very, very important. Linking this to the third point, which I have here, soft skills and then your EQ, it means that you cannot afford to jeopardize your first chance. I mean, first impression in this aspect really matter. And I'm saying this because this part says your emotional intelligence, self-awareness, empathy, adaptability really matters. Connecting this, like I said, first impression matters. There's a saying that people normally say, "Oh, don't judge a book by its cover." But unfortunately, in the interview space, we have to judge you by what we see. So if we are not seeing the right things, it's already a turn off for us, right? So you want to give it your best. You want to look, if it's a virtual interview, you want to ensure that your camera is turned on. You want to ensure that you have good lighting around. You want to ensure that you are sitting in a position that would put you in the recruiter's good books. I mean, I remember a while ago, while we got to interview a candidate. I think this candidate was applying for the role of a product owner, if I'm correct, or a product manager. The moment I told the candidate to turn on their camera, this candidate was literally lying on his bed. He was literally lying on his bed. And I'm like, wow, okay, interesting. I mean, that impression was like, are you not prepared? Or is it like you don't want this job or something? So all of these things are things recruiters look out for. All of these things are some of the things that recruiters look out for. And another thing again is this, right? So the reason why, still to this culture fit, we I'm saying be a likable person, because you have to bring your A game, right? And we want to see if you are a good team player. Can you collaborate well? How do you handle pressure? How do all of these things, very, very important. So I mentioned part of the roadmaps that we were going to be discussing, right, is subtle communication keys that would set us apart. So like I mentioned, body language, if it's a virtual interview, you want to position yourself in a way that you are not shooting yourself in the leg, like I said. So body language, your eye contact, like I said, first impression matters. So all of these are just re-emphasizing the important things that recruiters would like to see. Some of these things are not like new to some of us, and if it's new for some people, it's a good thing that you're sharing now, so you try not to make some of these mistakes, right? Uh, Active listening. So you want to give your recruiter an impression that you are taking note of things. So you are showing genuine engagement. You are nodding. You are giving these reflective responses. You are showing them that I'm receptive. I'm open to learning. You have they have your attention. Some people would be looking here and there. Some people are looking elsewhere. Some people are even chewing gum. I mean, some of these things are really turn off, and you don't know what the recruiter is really looking. These are the little things we look out for, and at the end of the day, we hear that, oh, I had the interview, but I did not get the job. Another thing is you should know how to sell yourself. I mean, some people know the job, they have the technical know-how, but they don't know how to sell themselves. That's why I have storytelling here. So you have to use concise, relevant anecdotes to effectively illustrate your strengths and experiences. You don't just, anybody can come up with a very good resume. I mean, if you've scaled through the part of the AI sorting your resume and then you still get called for the interview, we understand that sometimes anybody can have a great resume, but beyond that resume, who are you? Let us know you for you, your personality. Give us that story. I mean, it doesn't have to be lengthy, but be concise about it. Let it be relevant to that position you are applying for. I hope I'm making sense so far, right? So next I have here is roadmap to authentic and strategic interview answers. Now, for every questions that you're being asked during your interview, it is expected that you have you approach it the with the tailor method. And what I mean by the tailor method is by customizing the answer basically for that particular organization. First thing, you want to have a in-depth company research. Some people don't even check to see, oh, this company I'm applying to, what do they do? What are they about? What's their business? All of these things. Sometimes is usually maybe a day before that some candidates would want to just quickly skim through and then check some things. But I'm putting it to us that we need to carry out like this research deeply before the interview, which is very, 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 very important. You need to know their values. You need to know what they do because you never can tell what question the recruiter wants to ask you. So you want to know their values. You want to know what they're really into. You want to know the nitty gritty. I mean, the recruiter again does not expect that you know everything, right? But there is a way you tailor your response, and then the recruiter nods and says, "Okay, this person has done their research well." So that's one thing you want to put at the back of your mind. Company research, very, very important. Next, I have here is use real stories. So I remember a time we were going to hire for a technical recruiter in house here in Enyata. And then this particular candidate, while he was having to, so based on the questions we asked him, I think the particular question was, I don't remember the exact question, right? But now his response gave me an insight that okay, this person really knows what he's doing, and this was what so he gave us a real story. Now it might not be real, but there's a way you tell your story that is very convincing, and then we can know for a fact that indeed this candidate really knows what he or she is doing. And then so now it's more of preparing your brief, like tell true experiences. Now this particular candidate using the star method. So I'm still going to explain that, right? But using the star method, like to clearly explain the challenges and the achievements in the interviews. Now you want to use stories while you're answering your question. This particular candidate mentioned, so it was about candidates, how were you able to, like, what challenge have you encountered as a technical recruiter? And then this particular candidate mentioned that there was So using the star method, so I want to use his illustration to explain to us how to follow through answering question using the star method. So his answer was okay, he understood the situation. This particular company reached out to him as a recruiting agency that, oh, we need XYZ developers. So they already stated the situation that, oh, we need to hire this set of people. Now, the next thing to do is to then he followed through with the task. Then he mentioned, oh, we started outsourcing, we poached, we got them from this pipeline here and there. That was the task. Like they identified the task that should be done, right? Next is action. So you want to take actionable steps. It since we already know the situation that we want to hire these people for this particular thing. And the task is to okay, know the kind of people we want to hire. Next is the action, then you start to do the main thing itself. And then the result at the end of the day was, oh, we're able to hire XYZ at this certain period of time. So using the STAR method is one way, one of the situational approach to answering interview questions, right? And then another thing I have here is to be yourself. I mean, recruiters want we value authenticity. We know when people are lying or when people, of course, not like we are superhumans that can easily read your minds, but there's some answers you hear. You can easily tell that this candidate is a no-no, right? So you really want to be yourself. You want to be genuine. And it's okay, it's okay if you don't know everything, right? So that's you being very humble, admitting that, oh, there's some things that I don't know, but I'm open to learn. I'm willing to want to do these things. I want to I see myself becoming better, growing and evolving, right? Then now I have here with me on the screen rather common interview mistakes. But this is just the little I could come up with. We have other ones, but in our short time we have here. I mean, first things first, like I mentioned at the beginning, try your best not to just have generic words on your resume. You need keywords. And how do you get these keywords? You get these keywords. The keywords are already on the job post, on the job requirements for that role you're applying for. So you have to tailor your resume. You don't know if it's an AI tool that is going to search your resume or is going to be done in a traditional way. But what you want to do, so the mistake you should try to avoid is having a generic word. Use specific words, use keywords. Secondly, lack of preparation. Some people, if you go unprepared, I mean, you would end up shooting yourself in the leg. So you need to take adequate time to prepare, do your research, do your study. If you have anybody in house in that particular organization, ask them questions. Oh, what do you think I should do better? Or how do you think I should approach this thing? Right. So lack of preparation is another thing that makes some candidates not to get or land that job. Please excuse me. Another thing is overconfidence and negativity. Some people feel like, oh, I know it all. I know everything. Of course, yes, you know everything. But we don't want to know that. We don't want to see that you know everything. Be humble. Even if you know, don't rub it in people's face. Be that person who knows, and then you are also willing to learn more and you are receptive to getting more things. I remember I've been saying I remember because I mean, I've been in a couple of interviews in this short time. And then there was this particular lady we were interviewing. She was heading a team where she was coming from. But transitioning here, it's a new terrain here for her, right? But I mean, it's humility to see that, okay, I admit that I know this thing. I've been on this pedestal before, but because of what I want to learn, I am bringing or taking out that pride and I'm being down to earth. right? To want to learn and then take on this new phase. I don't know if I've made sense in that part, but what I'm just trying to say is don't be overly confident. Of course, we need your confidence, but some people do it excessively, right? They feel like, oh, I'll get the job. My dear, you might not get the job, right? So don't be overly confident. Have your confidence up there, right? And then the last thing to avoid is you want to try and communicate clearly without confusion. Clarity is very important. You don't need some, and we're asking you XYZ, you are telling us ABC. I mean, there's no correlation. So for every question, if you do not understand, you can try to ask the recruiter, oh, I don't understand this question. Could you please go over it again or kindly narrow it down? Or could you break it further or expatiate on this? Just ask if you're not clear. And if you don't know, admit and say, oh, I don't know this question, but I would like to get the answer. And we've had situations whereby some candidates will say, "Oh, I don't know this question," and then the interviewer would say, "Okay, let me tell you what it should be. So next time." And sometimes I see some people with pen and all that, taking notes and doing all of these things, showing keen interest that they really want to do these things. So these are the little things. You think they are just like minute, but it's those little things that really matter. So these are some of the mistakes I think we can avoid. But most importantly, I'll keep emphasizing it. Your resume should be tailored. It should not be generic. Keyword. So I will just do all of this in like a summary. So we can also leverage on the use of AI in order for us to, land these jobs. Now, the first one says work with the AI. Remember the resume sorting boards, like I already mentioned time and time again. Use job keywords and clear headings so the AI can pass your resume. For example, label sections, experience and skills. I mean, mention the exact technologies, like is it Java, is it Python, is it Tailwind, is it React, is it, just be very specific, right? And another thing I'd like to mention is we can also take advantage of AI in such a way that we can ask that AI should look now copying that job post. You can now prompt the AI to give you possible questions that will be, I mean, it might not be correct like 100, but it would give you directions sort of on what questions to expect or how the interview might be channeled, right? So again, while we're using AI, it's very important that we do not lose our personal touch, our originality as humans, our authenticity. It is very important. So my point here says even if a computer reads you first, a human will almost certainly meet you later, which is very true. So tell your story and let your passion show. That's where I mentioned being very authentic, right? Recruiters know that behind every application, flesh and blood, we are humans, we are individuals, we have our struggles, we have different experiences and all that. So you want to be, aside having the AI do the thing, you still don't want to lose your originality, your personal touch, right? And then, like I said, we should leverage on AI, use AI to your advantage. You can give a prompt, okay, help me generate some questions, possible questions that is tailored to this job description or this job ad. That's how well we can take advantage of AI. So in conclusion, right, I mean, with everything I've said, combining your skills and personality is what will land you the job. It's one thing to be what's it called? It's one thing to be one thing to have a good resume, right? It's another thing to have that great personality to back up that resume that will land you that job. So you need a combination of both. Another thing I want to mention is be the solution. Every organization are looking for people that can solve problems. So beyond um apologies, beyond the other perks, of course, the perks are very important, but before those ones start to come, you want to tell them that, oh, I can help you do this, I can help you solve this problem, I can make this process better, I can build this application. So even if it is outside of tech, whatever it is you're trying to do, you want to present yourself as being a solution to the organization. And finally, keep learning. Remember that interviewing is a skill, so you have to keep practicing over and over again. Sometimes, even if you don't even want the job, you can just apply for these interviews just to test how well you you will do, right? So practice with your friends, record yourself. You could just have your phone in front of you, record yourself, watch yourself, see all of this. We don't expect you to be perfect because we don't need perfect people. We just want to see that you understand what it is you're coming in for and you're open to learn, and you will not even give us problem, because sometimes you can be good at the job and when you start to work with us, you start to give us headache. We are running helter skelter. You're just disturbing everybody. You don't know how to manage people. Your emotional intelligence is not right there. So with these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to impact us in one way or the other. Thank you so much for this session. Thank you for having me. So if we have any questions, please, I think Precious will take over from there. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, guys, please, can we drop some reactions for Jadesola, please? Can we drop reactions? Yeah, thank you. So if you that was a very interesting session. That was a very, very interesting session. Yeah, and yes, the session is being recorded. I saw someone asking. In fact, I'm ending the recording now, so we don't get the question and answers into the recording. Much part of it, all right. So thank you very much, Jadesola, for that very, very interesting session. So, and it's even I am happy or I was excited to hear that, oh, I can actually apply for job even when I'm not interested in that job, just so I can go and interview, and and that is a good way to sharpen my interview skill. Why I'm saying it is because um, I used to do it before. I do it a lot. I just apply for a job even though I am not qualified for the job, just because I want to interview. That helps me be in the loop. Or helps me know. And it's good to also get a validation here that so seeing HR professional like you come to talk about it, right? That makes me feel like I'm doing something very, very good. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you very much for this very interesting session. All right. So I think this is the time for question. Personally, I
Yes.
have questions for you, but before